Okay, I'm going to draw a hexagon, and I want to draw it vertically since this eyeball is kind of oriented vertically. So it'll work out best if the hexagon is, no it won't, it'll work out best if the hexagon is lying down flat. So we get the polygon tool, and it still remembers that we did something with 4 sides last time. So I'm going to type a 6, press enter. Now it's a hexagon tool instead of a square tool. And I'll drag this out. And I'm going to raise it up with the push-pull tool after I stop and let everyone get caught up again. And P for push-pull tool. And the little stub on the end of the eyeball is 1/4 of an inch high. So we're going to make this hexagon 1/4 of an inch high. And if you're going to have this thing spinning on that shaft, we might as well make the hole right away. So I'm going to get the circle tool. I'm going to type C on the keyboard to get the circle tool.
Brooks, did you give a measurement on how the radius of your...
No. So that's something you'll need to do. You want to get into your that drawing for the thing that's spinning on a shaft and just see how much room you have. Measure it with the tape measure tool. And then come over here and figure out just how much room you got for this thing to rotate in. And if you print it out and it's wrong, then you can just make a bracket that's a little taller. Okay, so hole in the center, 0.078, and then push-pull tool. Now, the next thing we need to do is make this a solid. Now we're not going to be having any disaster since that's a solid. I'm going to make a copy of this eyeball, except the eyeball is part of this thing here. Well, let's see if I explode that. We won't be able to get the eyeball with a little stub on it like we had it before. So what I need to do next is I need to open up I need to download the file that has the eyeball in it. Open that file up, then copy the eyeball, and then get back into this drawing and paste it in here. So I'm going to get this out of our hair right now, and this too. And next I'm going to click the SketchUp icon. Okay, we're opening another instance of SketchUp. So that we haven't thrown away the old drawing. And I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll leave this open here. We are going to need this in a minute. What I should have done was to go to the website and eyeball. Well, you know, actually, we already have it on the removable drive. So I didn't need to go to the website. I could have just gone to here and, well, let me go to the File Explorer down here. And here's the eyeball file that we downloaded earlier. I'm going to double click that, which will open it into SketchUp. Okay, now I'm going to click the eyeball, edit, copy. Notice it says Control-C over here. It's worth remembering that Control-C does a copy, Control-V, which is right next to the letter C on the keyboard, does a paste. I also like to think that Control-V is like you're pushing your thumb down to paste the thing on. So So you can always go to edit. Sometimes some software, when you want to copy something, it doesn't have edit, but you can do a Control-C and copy it anyway. Okay, now that we have a copy of that eyeball on the Windows clipboard. So, and we'll get back over here to what we were doing. Now, it needs to know where to paste that eyeball when you paste it. I'm going to draw a line. Just from here, doesn't really matter. But see, this line is on the ground. Now I'm going to go up here, edit, paste, or I could have done a Control-V also. And here's our eyeball. And the four arrows there, if we put those on that dot there, then it's going to kind of anchor the eyeball on the end of that line. We don't need the line anymore, so I will erase that. All right. Now what we need to do is we're going to need to make some copies of this eyeball. We'll need 6 copies. But I can tell right now that the way this eyeball is oriented, that it'll fit nicely down here. So I'm going to make a copy of the eyeball. So arrow tool, click to tell it what we're going to move. Then M on the keyboard to get the move tool. Control button to tell it we want to copy. And then we have 2 eyeballs, just like any animal should have. Okay. Except for Martians. Okay. So I'm going to turn this around so I can see the midpoint on this stump right here. M for move. We'll grab the midpoint here at the top. We'll bring this over here. We'll fish around for the. Now we're having a hard time here when this kind of thing happens, and you can't let it glom onto this line here. You need to get the X-ray tool. With the X-ray tool, we don't have things getting in the way. We can click on things that are inside of things even. So see, it kind of snaps right to that midpoint there. In fact, it even says midpoint in the group. But in X-ray mode, it gets pretty confusing. To turn off X-ray mode, you click the X-ray icon. All right, let me rotate this. Oops, it was still in the move tool. I'm going to do an undo. I'll press O for orbits. Okay, that eyeball is glommed right on there. And ultimately, we want to make we want to use an outer shell to make all this whole thing one solid. And when we go to print this thing, the MakerBot software will automatically create supports for the hexagon. Now let's make another copy of the eyeball. We'll glom it onto the other surface over here. So I click that eyeball with the arrow tool, M for move, Control for copy. And I'm going to kind of rotate things so I can see what I want to do. Okay, spacebar to get the pointer tool, the select tool. Okay, we've got the pointer tool, and I'm going to do a right click, and I'm going to do flip along, and this is going to make a mirror image of this thing, and I'm going to guess that we want to flip it along the green axis. If that doesn't work, we just do an undo, then flip it along some other axis. That didn't work. Okay, undo. All right, I'll try flipping it along the red axis next. That didn't work either, okay. 3rd time's a charm. Flip along the blue axis. That worked. Took me 3 tries, but I got there. Now what we're going to do is, well, I'm going to let you get caught up with what we're going to do first. Next thing is to stick this eyeball onto the opposite side of the hexagon. M for move, C, nope, we don't want to do control because we already have a copy. So just plain old M for move. And we'll catch the midpoint here on this top line here on the stub. And dang, we can't see where we want to put it. Well, no problem. You press O for orbit, get things oriented the way you want to have them. And then M for move. And then we fish around for the midpoint here. We didn't have, notice it picked up where we left off. We didn't have to go to X-ray mode. Okay, now these are the easy, we've done the easy ones. Let me pause to get you caught up. We need a copy of the eyeball, so move to, well, first we need to select it. Okay, we need to select the eyeball over here. M for moves, control for copy, and now we've got a copy of it. Orbit tool. Now the rotate tool, we kind of need 2 points to click on so that it knows what to rotate around. And we also need to be kind of looking down along the axis that we're going to rotate it around. So orbit tool over here. I said orbit tool. I should have been saying rotate, the rotate tool. The rotate tool needs 2 points. Okay, click. Now you want the blue protractor, meaning that you're going to rotate this around the blue axis. Okay, another click over here. And I rotated it a little ways to show what direction I want to rotate it in, but let me go back the other way. And I'll just kind of guess as to where we want to rotate it to. It's giving me 120 degrees down here. That would actually work, but let's say you didn't know about that. So I rotated this a little bit in this clockwise direction. I'm going to type in 60 for 60 degrees and press enter. And I was kind of wanting to glom it onto this side, but it looks like it's just right for the other side over here. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'm going to make a copy of it first because I think we'll be able to flip it and glom it onto this side over here. Okay, M for move, control for copy, the midpoint here, and then midpoint there. Okay, my first guess, 60 degrees, that was right. And if we flip this guy over, then it'll be oriented right for this other surface. So select tool, right click to get the menu, flip along, I think blue is what we want again. Yep, blue it is. Looks like it's oriented just right. M for move. And I grabbed hold of the midpoint, and then we get the midpoint here. It's being difficult again. So whenever you're trying to do this kind of thing, it gets difficult. You need the X-ray mode. You need Superman, X-ray vision. Now it's still giving me a hard time. So I made it bigger. Anytime you have a hard time getting it to stick where you want something to stick, you want to make the drawing bigger. So SketchUp will only, if you're within a certain distance as it appears on the screen, then it'll snap to that next thing. So sometimes it'll snap to things you don't want it to snap to, but if you make the picture bigger, then it'll snap to the right thing. Now AutoCAD, you can turn snap on and off. SketchUp, you can't turn snap on and off. So we've snapped it to the midpoint of this other side here. All right, we'll click the X-ray icon to turn off X-ray view. So that's all I'm going to do. I'll let you figure out the eyeballs for the other side. So I'm giving you lots of ideas for contraptions. I guess so far I've been wanting you to do all of them. But if you have an idea for something of your own concoction, then you can work on that when you're caught up with the other things. Or at some point, I'll tell everyone, okay, go ahead and create some kind of a contraption. You know, spend a while coming up with something neat. So I do want everyone to do this this thing also. So we've got two contraption projects. We've got the eyeball on the pendulum, and we have the eyeball stuck onto a hexagon. Now remember, you gotta figure out how big to make the hexagon first. So you got to open the drawing with the spinning, the gizmo spinning on the axis, and then make a measurement as to how much space you have. And if you get it wrong, you can just make a bracket that's higher than what we normally have. Okay, I guess we'll stop here.